Hello everyone, I'm glad to see you on the course Fundamentals of Biometrics from the Biology department. And today we have the theme, the role of statistical methods in biology, data analysis software. We have the following goals. We need to study the role of statistical methods in biology and consider brief historical background and data analysis software. Okay, let's start. About the role of statistical methods in biology. The significance of statistical methods in biology is determined both by the very nature of modern research in these areas and by the natural properties of the objects of study. Most of modern biological research or study deals with an avalanche of numbers fraught with data on the size, weight, age, abundance, biomass, fertility of organisms, productivity of ecosystems, productivity of varieties, concentration of substances, the ratio between traits, doses of factors, various quantitative indicators, and numerical characteristics. This apparently initially chaotic set of primarily numerical information is superimposed on the properties of the objects of study themselves, which enhance the scatter of data, in particular the wide variability of living systems. Modern statistics are so useful in processing numerical data in biology, and preciously because it is based on the recognition of this variability and has powerful tools for accounting for it. As a result, in the seeming chaos of the figures obtained, specific patterns suddenly open up that require an objective assessment. Confirmation of the existence of regularity in the visible chaos of variability is achieved through the use of methods of statistical analysis. The application of applied statistical methods to complex living systems contributed to the emergence of a new direction in the biological sciences and mathematics, which was called biometrics. In addition to this generally recognized term, others have been and are still being used: biometrics, variational statistics, biological statistics, biomathematics, recently computer biometrics. However, no matter the terms and loud phrases are used, the essence of this scientific direction remains virtually the same: statistical processing of the results of observations and experiments in biological sciences, which includes ecology, in order to separate the lawful from the accidental, assess the various connections and dependencies between biological phenomena, searching for causes, determining the influence of a factor, and more. A characteristic feature of biometrics is the applicability of its methods, not to single facts, but only to their aggregates to mass phenomena. It is in the sphere of mass random phenomena that patterns are found that are not characteristic of single objects. In this regard, the area of application of statistical methods in only biology and is very significant, since many biological phenomena are massive by their nature. For example, they involve not one cell, not one individual, not one bacterium, not one species or, for example, population, but their aggregates interacting with each other. The occurrence of events in such aggregates can be estimated by probabilities. Problems such as variability of morphological, physiological, and ecological characteristics of animal and plants, age-related variability of organs in humans, establishment of the influence of environmental factors, quantitative accounting of organisms, classification construction in systematics, study of heredity in genetics, individual growth of organisms, population dynamics of numbers, features of succession, ecosystems can only be studied using mathematical and statistical methods. On the other hand, not all research in biology and ecology, for example, should and can rely on biometrics. Many great discoveries were made without the use of quantitative methods of analysis. But in those areas of biological sciences where research is carried out on the basis of measurement and calculations, ignoring the statistical processing of the material obtained by the researcher can lead to little convincing or even erroneous conclusions. On the contrary, the correct application of biometric methods increases the evidence of the conclusions made, helps to plan experiments correctly, to identify hidden patterns and correctly interpret them, to establish the causes of the observed phenomena, to separate them from the consequences, to single out the most important factors affecting the phenomenon, to measure the strength of their influence, giving the ability to obtain an accurate quantitative characteristic of the variability of the studied indicators, to assess the ability of the hypothesis being tested, to determine the degree of differences between the signs. About brief historical background. In biology and ecology, the use of mathematics began much later than in physics and chemistry. It's true. For a long time, biological sciences have developed on the basis of only a quantitative analysis of phenomena. The need for quantitative analysis became clearly understood only at the end of the 19th century. Francis Galton developed the foundations of a new science he called biometrics. Galton made the first attempt to apply statistical methods to solving the problem of heredity and variability of organisms. A worthy successor of Galton's research was his student Karl Pearson. He created the mathematical apparatus of biometrics, developed the doctrine of different types of distribution curves, developed the chi-square criterion, introduced indicators such as standard deviation and coefficients of variation into biometrics. It should be noted that the research of Galton and Pearson, at first, did not receive recognition from the scientific community, and their articles even refused to be published in leading scientific publications. Therefore, in 1901, Pearson was forced to organize the publication of his own journal, Biometrica, which still exists and is considered the most authoritative publication in its field. One of the reasons for the lack of confidence in the first biometric works was that biometrics focused their attention on numerous data series and were not actually interested in analyzing small samples. Therefore, even having adopted a new approach of Galton's and Pearson's, most researchers would not be able to use it in practice. This problem was solved by the Englishman William Gosset, sustaining in the theory of a small sample and the idea that even for a small amount of data, statistical methods can be successfully used. Gosset in 1908, under the pseudonym Student, published his famous work, Probable Error of the Mean, where he describes the T-criterion he developed. The theory of a small sample was further developed in the works of the outstanding English statistician Ronald Fisher. His scientific works can rightfully be considered the pinnacle of classical and the foundation of modern biometrics. He is the founder of analysis of variance and statistical theory of experimental design. A valuable contribution to the development and promotion of biometric methods was also made by native scientists, for example, Четверяков, Filipchenko, Terentiev, and more. About data analysis software. Data analysis software can be conditionally divided into general-purpose packages, for example, Microsoft Excel, and special software products, which in turn are divided into mathematical programs, statistical programs, and scientific graphic packages. About mathematical programs, there are Mathematica, MATLAB, Maple, MathCAD, and more. About statistical programs, Statistica, StatGraphics, SPSS, Stadia, Biostat, CStat, Athestat, and more. But the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet processor and the Statistica package are the most accessed in universities and widely used in scientific research organizations of biological and ecological profile. More about Microsoft Excel. The main tools for data analysis in Microsoft Excel are statistical and mathematical functions of the library of built-in functions, for example, Function Wizard, statistical procedures of the add-in analysis package, and a special tool for graphical analysis, Chart Wizard. Functions are predefined formulas that you can use to quickly perform calculation on specified values, called arguments. Microsoft Excel has the ability to graphically analyze data and create charts and graphs of fairly acceptable quality. More about Statistica. Statistica is an integrated statistical analysis and data processing system. The system consists of the following main components. First, a multifunctional system for working with data. Second, graphic system for data visualization and results of statistical analysis. Third, a set of statistical modules in which groups of logically related statistical procedures are collected. And last, special tools for preparing reports. Okay, we have considered full material in the framework of this exam. Thanks for your attention and goodbye. See you later.